Your manhood isn't gone, it's waiting. Here's how to get it back. Have you ever looked in the mirror and quietly asked yourself, where did he go? The man who once woke up strong, steady, and full of spark. The one who took pride in his stride, had fire in his voice, and felt a current of confidence running through his body. And now, mornings feel slower, energy dips sooner, and that deep down drive, the one that once came naturally, feels like it's been on mute. Now here's what most men over 60 never hear until it's almost too late. Your manhood doesn't fade because of age. It fades because of inaction. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, urologist, men's health physician. 30-plus years of walking this road with men just like you. And I'll tell you something straight. Most guys aren't getting old. They're just not giving their body the support it still needs. Your body still listens, it still responds, and it still remembers who you are, if you give it the right message. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 6 daily habits that can quite literally bring you back to life, restoring your circulation, your confidence, and that sense of, I've still got it. We won't talk pills, we won't talk surgery, just small practical changes that can reignite the part of you that's quietly been asking for more. And I promise, by the time we're done, you'll see just how close you are to feeling like yourself again.
The walk of power, movement that fuels manhood. The walk of power, the movement that awakens men's style. Let me tell you about a man named Joseph, 72 years old, retired postal worker, quiet guy. When he first walked into my office, he didn't say much. He just looked tired. Not sick, not broken, but you could see it in his posture. His confidence had started to sink beneath the surface. He sat down, looked at the floor, and said softly, "Doc, I just don't feel like a man anymore." It wasn't about his age, not his gray hair, not his slower mornings. It was something deeper. He felt like he'd lost his edge, his spark, his sense of being alive in his own skin. Now, when I asked him what his daily routine looked like, it was exactly what I expected. A lot of sitting, some TV, a quick bite to eat, not much movement. And here's the truth most men never hear. Your blood doesn't move unless you do. And without healthy blood flow, confidence, energy, intimacy, they all begin to drift. That's why one of the most powerful habits I recommend before any diet, before any supplement, is this: walking. But not just any walking, purposeful walking. Even 10 to 20 minutes a day can send a signal to your body that you're still in the game. It boosts circulation, strengthens your heart, clears your head, and yes, it sends blood exactly where a man needs it most. So with Joseph, we started small, just a stroll around the block after breakfast. 10 minutes, nothing fancy, no gym membership, just his own 2 feet and the decision to move. And something incredible started happening. Within a week, his shoulders were higher. Within a month, he was walking 2 miles a day. But more than that, he started smiling again, talking with more energy, laughing. And one morning, he looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I feel like I got a piece of myself back." That's not luck. That's biology in motion. Why does walking work so well? Because it triggers the natural pump system of your body. Your heart beats stronger, your arteries expand, oxygen-rich blood flows through your legs, your brain, and yes, your manhood. It's like jump-starting your system every morning without a single pill. Plus, it's been shown to lower blood pressure, support healthy testosterone, burn belly fat, increase nitric oxide, which improves erections, boost memory and mental sharpness. Stanford even found that walking increases creative thinking by up to 60%. That means more clarity, more emotional energy, and more confidence in every part of your life. So if you're wondering where to start, don't overthink it. You don't need a treadmill or a personal trainer. Just put on your shoes and walk forward like a man who's not done yet. Start with 10 minutes. Walk during TV commercials. Take a lap around the backyard. The key is not the distance, it's the decision. Because every step is a message to your body. I'm still here, I still matter, and I'm not giving up.
Eat like your erection depends on it, because it does. Let me introduce you to Edward, 68, retired electrician. Hard-working, kind-hearted, but worn down. When he walked into my office, he didn't say he was in pain. He didn't complain about anything specific. He just looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I'm not really sick, but I'm not really living either." His words were quiet, but heavy. His energy, flat. His memory, slipping. And intimacy, let's just say it had become a thing of the past. So I asked him the most overlooked question in men's health. What are you eating every day? And like many men his age, the answer was familiar. Toast or sweet cereal for breakfast, processed sandwich for lunch, a frozen dinner, if he remembered to eat at all. Simple, convenient, and quietly destructive. Because here's the hard truth no one's telling older men. Your diet isn't just feeding your belly. It's either fueling your manhood or silently starving it. Your body isn't a machine. It's a chemical symphony. Every bite you take sends instructions to your blood vessels, your hormones, your heart, and your performance. When you eat high sugar, salty, ultra-processed foods, you're doing more than adding a few pounds. You're inflaming your arteries, stiffening your circulation, restricting the flow of oxygenated blood to the very parts of your body that make you feel alive and connected. And without proper blood flow, erections fade, recovery slows, desire dries up. It's not your age, it's what's on your plate. So I made Edward a deal. No counting calories, no dieting like he was 25 again. Just add the right foods. Foods that speak the language of blood flow, hormones, and vitality. Here's what we did. Beets at lunch, packed with nitrates that relax blood vessels and improve circulation. Spinach in his eggs, loaded with magnesium and vitamin K, crucial for testosterone and vascular health. A handful of nuts mid-afternoon for healthy fats and zinc. Olive oil on veggies, a natural anti-inflammatory. And he traded soda for lemon water. Small shift, big results. 3 weeks later, my phone rang. It was Edward. He didn't ask for a prescription refill. He just said, "Doc, I feel lighter. Not just in weight, my mind's clearer, and something's waking up down there." I smiled. That's not a miracle. That's biology doing its job once you stop interfering with it. So here's my advice to you. Don't eat like you're trying to survive. Eat like you're trying to live. If your plate is filled with real, vibrant, nourishing foods, your body remembers how to be strong, responsive, and energized. Here's a cheat sheet. Leafy greens, kale, arugula, Swiss chard, nature's blood thinners. Fatty fish, salmon, sardines, omega-3s for brain and vascular health. Whole grains, oats, brown rice, stabilize blood sugar. Simple water, keeps blood moving freely.
food doesn't just fuel your day, it fuels your identity. And here's the most powerful truth. When your body is nourished, your mind clears, you sleep better, you move more, you show up differently. You become someone you want to spend time with, and so does your partner. Edward isn't an exception. I've seen it again and again. Men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s who thought it was too late, only to find that with the right fuel, their fire was never gone, just smothered. So if your manhood feels like a flicker, feed it, don't fear it. The right food can reignite everything. 3. Train your muscles to protect your manhood. Muscle training to protect your manhood from the inside out. I want to tell you about Harold, 74, retired high school football coach. Once the kind of man whose handshake you'd remember, the kind who walked into a room and owned it. But when he came into my office, he shuffled, back curved, shoulders sagged. He held on to the chair before sitting down as if the ground had become unpredictable. He looked at me and said quietly, "Doc, I'm not myself anymore." And I believed him. Not because he was frail, but because he felt disconnected from the strength that once defined him, not just physically, but emotionally too. Here's something most men don't realize until it's almost too late. Losing muscle isn't just about appearance, it's about control. Control over your movement, your metabolism, your blood flow, and your confidence in the bedroom. The medical term is sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass that starts as early as your 50s and accelerates after 60. It's sneaky. You don't notice it until one day, climbing stairs feels harder. Standing from a chair takes effort, and that sense of physical power fades into memory. But here's the silver lining. Muscle loss is not inevitable. You can build strength at any age, even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. And you don't need a gym to do it. With Harold, we began where he was, not where he used to be. Here's what we did. Chair squats, using the dining table for balance. Wall push-ups each morning after brushing his teeth. Light bicep curls with canned goods from his pantry. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day. The key was consistency, not intensity. And within 3 weeks, I saw something shift, not just in his posture, but in his energy. He looked me in the eye and grinned. "Doc, I feel more alive," and my wife noticed too. That, my friend, is the power of muscle. Why does muscle matter so much for men over 60? Because muscle isn't just for lifting, it's your body's engine for blood flow, testosterone, and sexual performance. Here's what strong muscles do. Boost natural testosterone production. Enhance insulin sensitivity, meaning more stable energy and metabolism. Support arterial health and blood circulation. And provide better balance, stability, and confidence in movement. And yes, when your muscles are engaged and active, your manhood benefits directly. You feel more grounded, more agile, more yourself. Even a few minutes of light strength training a day can literally signal your body, "I'm not done, I'm still in the game." But here's the emotional truth I've learned after decades in practice. Strength isn't just about your muscles, it's about your identity. When a man feels physically strong, he carries himself differently. He reclaims dignity, walks taller, speaks clearer, becomes more present. You don't shrink from intimacy, you step into it. You don't hide your body, you begin to trust it again. I've worked with men in their 80s who told me, "Doc, I thought that part of me was gone," until they started moving again, with purpose, with intention, with courage. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. You just need to send your muscles a message that says, we're still needed. So let me ask you plainly, when was the last time you felt strong? Not decades ago, not in your youth. I mean now, this week, this month. If the answer feels distant, don't worry. Strength hasn't left you. It's just been waiting for an invitation to return. And it starts with one step, one rep, one intention. No matter your age, your body is still listening, and strength may be the spark that brings your fire back.
4. Sleep like a man who values his strength. Because real recovery doesn't happen in motion, it happens in stillness. A few months ago, I met a man named Raymond, 66 years old, recently retired. Walked into my office looking like a man who had been running on fumes. Not sick, but spent. He said, "Doc, I eat clean, I walk every morning, I even do resistance training twice a week, but I still feel exhausted. I'm irritable, I can't think straight. And in the bedroom, it's like my body isn't interested anymore." So I asked him one simple question. "How's your sleep?" He sighed. "Terrible. Up 3-4 times a night, waking up more tired than when he went to bed. And that, my friend, was the missing link." Here's what most men don't realize. Sleep isn't just about rest, it's about repair. And if your sleep is shallow, broken, or irregular, your body never gets the message to rebuild. Testosterone? It's made at night. Tissue healing? That happens during deep sleep. Brain detox? Hormonal balance? Immune restoration? All of it depends on high-quality rest. And here's the kicker. Men who consistently sleep fewer than 6 hours a night have testosterone levels that resemble someone 10 years older. That's not aging. That's sleep deprivation silently aging you from the inside out. So with Raymond, we didn't start with melatonin pills or sleep aids. We rewired his rhythm. Here's what we did. No screens after 8 p.m. Blue light from phones and TVs tricks your brain into staying alert. Gentle stretching before bed loosens tight muscles, calms the nervous system. Cool, dark, quiet bedroom. Think of it like a cave, your personal restoration chamber. Stopped drinking fluids 2 hours before bed, fewer trips to the bathroom. Cut back on alcohol. It may help you fall asleep, but it shatters your deep sleep cycles. And most importantly, a consistent bedtime, even on weekends, because your body is a creature of rhythm. It thrives on predictability. Within 10 days, I started to see the shift. Raymond looked clearer, more grounded, less edgy. But the moment that told me we were on the right track, he came in smiling and said, "Doc, I woke up with a morning erection, first time in years." That's not a coincidence. That's what happens when your body finally gets the deep, uninterrupted sleep it's been begging for. Your hormones rebalance, your blood vessels repair, your brain resets, and your manhood, it remembers how to show up. And don't forget, poor sleep isn't just about being groggy. It raises cortisol, it inflames your body, it slows down your metabolism, it steals your edge. But the good news is, sleep is free, it's natural, and it's powerful beyond belief. All it takes is a commitment to protect it. So tonight, don't treat sleep like an afterthought. Treat it like the foundation of your strength, because it is. You've now got movement, nutrition, muscle, and sleep working in your favor. But there's still one thing missing, and it's not physical. It's something men rarely talk about, but when it starts to slip, everything begins to feel flat. 5. Strengthen connection, the hidden key to male vitality. Because no man thrives in isolation, and silence is not strength. Let me tell you about Walter. He was 78, widowed, still independent, still walking every day, still eating relatively well. But when he came to see me, he didn't complain about blood pressure or fatigue. He looked at me and said, "Doc, I'm not sick, but something inside me feels empty." He'd lost his wife 3 years earlier. His kids lived in different states. Most of his days were spent alone, with the television as his primary company. And that is the part of aging no one prepares men for. You see, Walter wasn't dealing with loneliness in the usual sense. He was dealing with something deeper, emotional isolation. And what most men don't realize is this: disconnection is just as dangerous as any chronic disease. In fact, studies show that prolonged isolation can raise the risk of early death by 26%, the same as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. But it doesn't show up as chest pain. It shows up as flat mornings, irritability, a fading of desire. You stop caring, stop laughing, stop engaging. Not because you're weak, but because the human heart can only carry so much alone. So I gave Walter a very different kind of prescription. Not a pill, not a workout, not a supplement. I asked him to go be around people, even if just once a week. I suggested a local book club at the community center. He resisted at first. "Doc, I don't have much to say anymore." But I told him, it's not about talking. It's about being seen. 2 months later, he came back to my office, smiling, and with tears in his eyes, he said, "They remembered my name." That was it. He wasn't invisible anymore. And that small moment opened the door to everything else. He started walking more, eating better, sleeping better, laughing more. He even told me he'd started flirting again. I nearly fell out of my chair. Here's what the science says. Connection increases oxytocin, the hormone that reduces stress and lowers blood pressure. It stabilizes heart rhythms, improves immunity, enhances mental clarity. But more than that, it reminds you, you matter. You're not a shadow in the background. You're still here, still important, and someone is glad you exist. So let me speak to you now, man to man. If you've been pulling away, if you've convinced yourself that solitude is strength, or if part of you believes it's too late to reconnect, please hear this. You were never meant to walk this road alone. And connection doesn't have to mean a crowd. Sometimes it's a morning coffee with a neighbor, a phone call to an old friend, a weekly volunteer shift, a shared lunch, a moment of laughter with a stranger. Small acts, big medicine. Because here's the secret most fitness gurus and health experts will never tell you. True vitality isn't just about your heart or your hormones or your muscles. It's about how alive you feel in your relationships, how often you are seen, heard, and valued. That's not fluff. That's biology. That's survival. And it's your right as a human being. So if you felt the walls closing in, just a little, I want to challenge you. Reach out, say hello, ask someone how they're doing. Let yourself be visible. Because sometimes the smallest moment of connection is what brings a man fully back to life. Now, you've learned the 6 daily habits that I've seen revive vitality, purpose, and strength in hundreds of men over 60. But you might be wondering, how do I start without feeling overwhelmed? What if I fall off track? Can I really turn this around now?
This is where you begin again. You've just walked through 6 of the most important habits a man over 60 can ever hear, not just for his health, but for his sense of self. Let's recap. Walk with purpose, because blood flow is life, and every step reminds your body that you're still in the game. Eat to fuel your fire, because your fork writes the chemistry of your manhood. Train your muscles, not to impress, but to reclaim control, balance, and strength. Protect your sleep, because recovery is not a luxury, it's your power plant. Stimulate your mind, because a sharp brain leads a sharp body. Nurture connection, because no supplement on earth can replace what it means to feel seen and needed. You don't need to be perfect, you don't need to do them all at once, but you do need to begin. Because your vitality doesn't vanish, it waits. Waits for you to make the first move. And the moment you do, it responds. So here's what I want you to do. Pick just one habit today. Start walking. Read a chapter. Call someone you've been meaning to. And let it be your first step toward coming back to life. Fully, deeply, unapologetically. And if this message spoke to you, then my friend, don't go quietly. Subscribe to this channel. We're building something here, a place where men like you reclaim their health, their dignity, and their spark with science, wisdom, and heart. Turn on the notifications, because every week we drop real, honest tools to help you grow stronger, think sharper, and live better. And in the comments, tell me which habit you're starting with today. I read them, I reply, because this isn't just information, it's a community. You are not too old, you are not too late, and your best years, they're not behind you, they're right in front, waiting for you to show up. So take that next breath, straighten your back, and step forward. This is your comeback, and we're right here with you.